Hello, it's Ruby Dixon, and I am here in Cape Town, South Africa. And today I am going to be asking South Africans how much money they make, what they do for a living, and other interesting questions. If you've ever thought about hiring overseas, I think you're going to be absolutely blown away by the talent. Let's go. So, what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Katya. I'm 29 years old, and I'm currently studying my PGA course for golf. I'm also a pro. I'm doing coaching, playing tournaments, and then in the evenings I waiter at one of the restaurants just down the road.
So what made you want to do this?
It's been a dream of mine, since I was a youngster. I've always been into golf, and just wanting to kind of see where I can take it.
So how did you feel about making your passion your job?
It's such a game changer. I absolutely love it. I mean, when you can just wake up every day stoked and excited for the day, I feel like that's where you're winning at life.
Have you ever been in debt?
No, I haven't, luckily.
How do you think you've avoided that?
I'd say by managing my finances pretty well and just, kind of seeing when it's going well, you save up, and when it's kind of in a bit of a dip, you obviously go into those savings and you try and manage it as best as possible.
So how do you save money? What's your pro tip?
With regards to being smart with it, investing wisely, and don't splurge if you can avoid it. Save up for special occasions or when it counts.
So what advice would you give your younger self?
Don't be too hard on yourself and enjoy life.
And what's the best advice that you've ever received?
Something probably similar. You know what, life is there to be lived. We got to take each day as it is and grab opportunities with both arms.
Would you ever work remotely?
I'd love to, actually. That would be an amazing way to work and see the world and just kind of put everything that can be put into a day. That would be a manageable thing.
And how would you feel about working for an American company? What do you think the benefits of doing that would be?
I mean, one, you'd obviously be earning in dollars, so that would obviously be a massive help. And two, again, you'd be working different hours, so you'd have a lot more free time if you're working here in the day or say elsewhere. So you could also then manage, work and play. So that would be a pretty good combination, I'd say.
And how much money are you currently making on a month-to-month basis?
I'm earning 20 grand a year. Oh, sorry, a month.
And if you were to work for an American company, how much money would you possibly put out to ask for them to pay you? And you can say it in rands as well.
Yeah, look, I think it would also just depend on the job itself, and what I feel like I could contribute to it. But anything on what my salary is at the moment to above would be a win. Yeah.
How much money do you think is comfortable to be making in South Africa in 2024?
It's actually a decent question. Again, depending on how you manage it and how you run with it. But yeah, look, I mean, if you are smart with your money, anything from 15,000 a month and up, obviously if you're making more than that, great. But also just how you live your life and how you want to finance yourself.
Okay, and then I want you to pitch yourself in 20 seconds to an American company out there in the world.
How's it, guys? I'm Katya. I'd like to think that I bring all the necessary skills that I can. I'm a hard worker. I love what I do, always keen to learn, and let me just take it as it comes, take the challenges. Grab life by the horns, grab the bull by the horns, that one.
So what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
Cool. Hello, my name is Nick. I'm 29 years old, and I am a shareholder in a restaurant/bar, and I also share a little hat company called Yo-Yos. So it's like hemp hats, so it's a little side hustle. Yeah.
So how did you get into this industry?
So basically, I played music my whole life, so I needed a side hustle. So it ended up being kind of in bars and restaurants, the service industry. And then obviously it just carried on and on and on, and became like a general manager of a group and whatever. And then eventually I kind of got the opportunity to buy into a restaurant. So yeah, that's pretty much how.
And did you go to university?
No, I did not.
Do you regret that?
I mean, sometimes I think, maybe I should have, but at the same time, I'm pretty stoked with where I'm at in my life, and I'm excited for what's ahead still. So in a nutshell, no.
And when you left school and all of your friends went to university, what were you doing at that time to keep yourself occupied?
I was playing gigs and drinking lots of alcohol and smoking cigarettes.
That's the way to do it.
But now I don't do that anymore, But
yeah, you got out of the system.
Absolutely, yeah.
On a month-to-month basis currently, how much money are you making?
Well, it's difficult to say because I don't take a full-on salary as a business owner. It's incredibly difficult. My staff make more than me, probably, but I guess, anything from 20 a month, I guess, if you add it up, give give or take, I guess. If you ask me, on paper, I make minus 20,000 Rand a month.
And if you were to guess, what would you say is a comfortable amount of money for a South African to be making in 2024?
I guess it all depends kind of like what you're used to and how you've grown up, because I know a lot of people can get by with a lot less, and it is unfortunate, and there is obviously quite clearly a large imbalance in South Africa, but I would say that a humane salary would probably be, people need to earn at least 15,000 Rand to be able to make ends meet. Like, I feel like that's a humane salary, Yeah.
And would you ever work remotely for an international company?
Yes, I guess as a sort of like cover it all broad answer, I guess yes. It does sound appealing. I guess having time on your hands is kind of where it's at nowadays. I don't think anybody likes being stuck in an office Monday to Friday, 9 to 5,
So would you say that those are the main benefits of working for an international company, or are there any others?
I mean, the main benefits as a South African working for an international company would obviously be to pull foreign currency, because our Rand is so weak compared to the US dollar. I think it's like 18 Rand now. It's gotten a little bit better, but I mean, hello, that's insane. It's like $1 is 18 Rand. Crazy. So yeah.
And what advice would you give your younger self?
Look after your body from a young age. Prioritize health and fitness.
Okay, so what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Acacia. I'm 29 and I hustle, I guess, for a living. Anything in helping Nick run the restaurant, half the cup business. I'm a teacher. I manage a social media account, so anything.
And how did you get into these hustles?
I think you gather skills as you go. You kind of try one thing and maybe it's not sufficient, so you pick something up as you go. Networking, I think also background in music, so I just kind of went wherever I was pushed.
And did you go to university?
I did. I have 2 degrees. Which I don't currently use.
What are those degrees?
One is Bachelor of Education and then another is Honours in Educational Psychology.
And do you think that university was a waste of your time?
No, I don't, but I only think that because I went to a very alternative, offbeat university, so it was way more focused on personal development and humanity. It wasn't a conventional route.
So what do you think the benefits of going to university are, and where do you think that it hindered you?
I'm not sure what the benefits of going to a conventional university would be. I think maybe, I don't know, it's a difficult one, but I do think there are benefits in engaging with a course if you're going to get personal development out of it, but I don't think it's an essential thing today.
And what was your dream job growing up?
I don't think I had one. When people asked me that, I said I just wanted to be me. At one point I wanted to be a wildlife videographer, but that died very quickly.
And how much money are you currently making on a month-to-month basis?
Yeah, again, same on paper in the negative, but I think probably anywhere between 10 to 20,000 Rand a month.
And what do you think is a comfortable amount of money to be making in South Africa in 2024?
I think you would minimum 15, but again, it depends if you're living in a suburban area or a rural area. But if you can afford rent and food and transport comfortably, minimum 15.
And if you were to guess, what would you say the average South African is actually making?
It's interesting because I think majority of South Africans are underprivileged and working in things like service. So I would say average probably 8 to 10.
And would you ever work for an American company?
I would. It was the last option. Yes. I would.
And what do you think the benefits of working for an American company would be?
Consistent income and being able to afford to live where we are and where we were born would be a huge benefit.
And because you said that you manage a social media page, do you think that managing an American social media page would be beneficial to you?
Yeah, I definitely do, especially if the pay is in dollars. But yeah, I mean, it comes with the commitment of obviously committing to your device and to that online life, which is very contradictory to South African landscape and whatever. But yeah, it would be.
What's the best advice that you've ever received?
Live in the now. Try not to live in the future or the past, but I have not achieved that yet.
And then lastly, what do you feel that the world needs more of?
Kindness, and not in a cliche way, but it really needs empathy and a lot of sense of the other person, which I feel is, deteriorating more and more.
So what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
Okay, my name is Selwyn. My surname is Lerato. I'm 52 years old and I am what they call a site supervisor supervisor. So I manage a site. We got a staff complement of 5 people, including myself.
And how did you get into this industry?
I applied online, put my CV out on a recruitment agency. They had a look at it and then they tried to match me to a suitable job.
And did you go to university?
No, I didn't go to university. My education is very minimum in that regard. I completed primary school. At high school, I completed maybe standard 7. The highest grade that I passed was maybe standard 6.
And how do you think that had hindered you, and how do you think it benefited you?
Yes, I can say definitely it hindered me. One understands the importance of having a diploma or a degree. It will give you better opportunity because that's the requirements that is needed in a work environment. So it definitely hindered me to get a good paying job.
And about how much money are you making on a month-to-month basis?
I earn about maybe 20,000 rand. Yeah, that's roughly my monthly salary.
And how much do you think is comfortable for a South African to be making in 2024?
Money is never enough. But let's say maybe to live comfortably, I say maybe at least 30,000 rand. But I think one must just work wisely with what you've got. The problem is I think people are undisciplined and you get into debt and, we don't live within our means. So I think that is the biggest problem.
And have you ever been in debt before?
Yes, I think all my life. And it's a struggle because you want to achieve certain stuff, but you don't marry it with living within your means.
And how did you manage debt?
You try to get out of debt, but sometimes you're creating more debt at a different interest rate, but that doesn't solve the problem. So one has to be more disciplined for paying the debt that you got and just try to live more within your means, seek financial advice. Just get out of the hellhole, that's what I call it, when you're in debt, a hellhole.
And would you ever work remotely for an American company?
I would. I'm open to working for a company. One must first do your homework to find out if they're going to be, is it a reputable company, is it a trustworthy company? And obviously you want to improve your lifestyle, so there has to be benefits. So maybe it's going to be paying more because that's what you're looking for. So I'm open to working for an American company.
And if you were to work for an American company, about how much money would you be asking for on a month-to-month basis?
I won't be asking for rands. I won't be asking for 20,000 rand. I want $20,000. No, I'm only joking. Not so much. You'll do obviously the comparison of what you currently got and what will it mean to improve your lifestyle. So obviously we'll want to earn a little more. I'm not too sure what the comparison rand-dollar exchange rate is, but at the end of the day I must have more rands in my pocket.
And growing up, what was your dream job?
I wanted to become a policeman. Yeah, I was wanting to become involved in that type of service as police, make sure people are safe and provide a service of safety and security.
And then lastly, what advice would you give your younger self?
Discipline is a key word. If you want is disciplined and don't get yourself into debt.
What is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Mohseen White. I am a quality controller. I'm 53 at the stage.
And how did you get into this industry?
Via agency, I worked for a company previously for 17 years, and then I went from company to company, and then eventually ended up with the agency, and then that's how I got into this company.
And how do you feel that being with an agency benefited you?
The agency doesn't actually benefit me, to be honest with you, because the agency gains more. So a portion of the money that I would have gotten, the agency gets, and I get a portion, and that is the problem. Yeah.
And did you go to university?
No, I didn't go to university. I went to college and that type of thing. So I have it in qualification 6, that type of thing. So I've studied storekeeping and warehousing and strategic logistics management, that type of thing.
And would you ever work for an American company?
Yes, I would.
What do you think the benefits of working for an American company would be?
I think obviously you guys are coming with the dollar and the rand. There's a huge difference between the two. So generally you get paid better in dollars than rands in South Africa.
And how much money are you making currently on a month-to-month basis?
You can say 10,000 rand.
And how much money do you think is comfortable to be making in South Africa in 2024?
Well, if I look back now, the money that I'm earning now is money that I've earned, say 10 years ago. Today, companies exploit you more. You do a lot more for little money and that type of thing. But yes, it will benefit me more if, obviously, if I can earn much more.
And what do you think people are actually earning in South Africa?
You know what? If you work for an agency, you earn very little money, to be honest. But if you work for a company where you're permanently employed or a private company, you earn much more. And obviously, increases is far better. Increases at big companies, it's not always the case where it's we get bigger increases. That's a problem.
And what would you say your top 5 skills are?
Well, I'm a qualified stock controller. Yes, I do quality control now. You know, working with people, being disciplined, that type of thing. Leadership, motivating people, training people, that type of thing.
What do you think it's like working in a team? Do you find it difficult?
No, I don't find it difficult working in a team because at the moment what's happening indirectly, I work with people because I do the quality. We do have a receiving supervisor, but the quality is basically over everything within the company. So yes, you might not work directly with all the people, but you work indirectly those people.
And what do you feel that the world needs more of?
Well, I think more educated people. That's what I would say. Yes, I would encourage people rather, get educated, and that is the main thing today. You need to be educated. Schooling is not enough and that type of thing. Yes, if they could implement something where you can straight from high school go into what you need to be one day and start early, then it's okay. You can do that.
And what advice would you give your younger self?
I would say, you know what, I could have done better. If I've started earlier instead of a night before the time, that was the problem. I would have probably have a degree now.
And then lastly, what is your favorite thing about South Africans?
Well, it's the environment of South Africans, the friendliness of South Africans and that type of thing. And it is a country for the world, to be honest.
So what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
My name's Kyle, I'm 31 and I work in America for carnivals. Not my greatest job that I'd like to say, but trying to get on the farms is pretty impossible. As of right now, when I come back, I'm unemployed, so it's a bit tough, but it is what it is.
How do you manage splitting your time between the two countries?
Focus on the money, that's all it is. Just focus on what you want to do, what you're trying to achieve and where you want to go in life and just do that,
And how long do you spend in America at a time before you return?
Between 6 and 9 months. When I return will probably be between, so if I come back in November, most likely looking at March, April, then you'll leave again. Other than that, it's just a waiting game because nothing's guaranteed, so.
And what do you think the benefits of working in the US are?
You get to travel, first of all. Secondly, you get exchange rate, which is, good when you come back to this country. Other than that, you also meet some nice people, in other places, different countries. You learn how things work there. You learn so much other things on equipment, how companies were run and this and that. So,
What do you think the biggest difference between South African and Americans are?
They don't know how to cook meat. Okay, we braai, right? Everyone knows South Africa for braai. We like our steaks a certain way. We got boerewors, we got biltong. They don't have all that stuff. Their food's very salty, very expensive, especially when you're trying to eat healthy. Other than that, if you're working on a budget, great value at Walmart, that's it.
And were you ever employed in South Africa?
Yes, I was.
What were you doing?
The last job was a sales rep for SoundMatch, so car audio basically.
And how did you get into that industry?
Being young and wanting loud cars and bass and everything, so you just get into it. And because I enjoy music, I enjoy loud music in the cars. Sitting in traffic, sound irritates you. Put the bass up, annoy them. And just learning about how to improve on quality of this or that. So from there, I just decided, let me try and find a job in the audio company, and I got it luckily. Pay wasn't the greatest, but it is what it is.
And how much money were you making on a month-to-month basis when you were doing that?
It's a good company. The quality of product is not bad. The service is pretty good, and I don't want to put any bad names on them. So
in a bracket, would you be able to say it? Like, what sort of pay bracket were you in? Like tax bracket?
Tax bracket. It wasn't a lot. Let's put it that way. It wasn't a lot of money. So maybe above average, especially for this country,
And what do you think the average pay for a South African is in 2024?
But I'd say between 6 and 9,000.
And how much do you think is comfortable to be making in this country in 2024?
It depends what area you want to live, how you want to eat, activities that you want to do outside of, work on the weekends, all that stuff. You're looking probably between 20 and 40,000 to be very comfortable. Well, okay, I won't say very, but to be comfortable. Not not have to worry about, okay, I don't have money for this or that. So you can still enjoy yourself. You can still do what you want to do, you know.
And would you ever consider working in South Africa but remotely for an American company?
If okay, you do know about Eskom, right? Okay, if Eskom plays its role properly, I'd say go for it. You know, if you're earning, let's say US dollars, why not? You know, you're at home, don't have to travel. It's pure profit. Okay, you pay electricity, but I mean, you know, other than that, I'd say go for it.
And then lastly, what advice would you give your younger self?
Do it better. Do it sooner. You know, if you want to travel, but do it when you're young so that you can set goals for your future.
So what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm Lerato, I'm 28 and I'm an audiologist.
So how did you get into this industry?
Pure chance, coincidence. I wanted to do medicine, but then I applied for audiology by mistake and I fell in love.
So what does this consist of?
Hearing tests, diagnosing hearing loss and managing hearing loss in general. But I've recently moved into the academic space, so I teach or supervise students who are in the audiology program now.
And what did you study at university?
A Bachelor of Science in Audiology from the University of Cape Town.
How do you think being at university benefit you beyond education?
A lot of exposure to different spheres of life, especially because I'm not Cape Townian. So I can say that the people that you meet, the critical thinking, it does help also in real life, and it just betters your emotional maturity, and the opportunities are much, much different when you do have like a university degree.
And how much money are you currently making on a month-to-month basis about?
Okay, so currently I'm like freelancing, so I make around 23 on a good month, 23,000 Rand on a good month.
And then would you ever work remotely for an American company?
No, I actually passed on the opportunity because currently the company that's doing that in South Africa is underpaying the audiologists and basically converting them into call center agents, which is not, I'm very clinical, so I don't believe in like just being purely a call center agent.
And what do you think the benefits would be of working for an American company if they weren't treating people that way?
I mean, obviously it gives us a slice of what practice is like in first world countries, which would in turn benefit how we provide services for our people locally. So yeah, that would be a thing. But if there wasn't the exploitation part to it, because it's like now they know we live off less, so they give us even lesser.
That's quite weird because I think generally speaking, you imagine that the American companies would be paying South Africans more because of the conversion rates.
I think maybe the middleman gets a little bit of a bigger cut, but at the end of the day, when it comes to, well, like I said, in my industry, it's not lucrative at this point to work for an American-based company.
And then what do you think the world needs more of?
I want to say less reliance on money, because we need a lot of emotional stuff and people need to learn manners again. Like, we need to start afresh. Like, who's that guy? Thanos. Yeah. We need a Thanos.
And then lastly, what advice would you give your younger self?
Invest in swimming, maybe not audiology, and just live your best life like no one is watching. Don't limit yourself.
Okay, sorry, just because you said that, don't do audiology basically. What was your dream job? Or if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you want to be doing?
I would want to be an author, like ghostwriting. I don't like being in the limelight for the stuff I do. So definitely be a ghostwriter.
Okay, so what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Tessa and I am 27 years old and I am a product designer.
So how did you get into this industry?
I got into it through my partner. He introduced it to me, and basically because of the pandemic I transitioned into doing this thing I do now. So it's been like 2-3 years since I started, and yeah.
And did you go to university?
I did, yeah.
What did you study?
I studied a BSc in interior architecture and then I worked for that for a year and then transitioned into what I do now. So yeah.
And how do you think being at university benefit you?
I think it definitely helped me to think about design differently, and because of the thing that I studied, I learned lots of design principles that have helped me tremendously in the work that I do now, and even if it's not the same thing. So I did find it really helpful to lay the groundwork for that. So.
And what's your favorite thing about your job?
I love that I get to work remotely and work whenever I want to work, and just being able to design.
So would you ever consider working remotely but for an American company?
I would, yes.
And have you ever?
I have.
Did you ever work for a South African company?
I did, yes.
About how much money were they paying you on a month-to-month basis?
They're paying around 25,000.
And did you feel well compensated for the amount of work that you were putting in?
Not really. But I think at the time I was starting out in this career, so it felt appropriate. But yeah, I definitely realized that I could be making much more money if I worked for an overseas company.
And is there a big difference between the amount of money that you're being paid by the American company versus the South African company?
Yes, significantly more, yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about working remotely?
That I get to travel the world.
And then what advice would you give your younger self?
I would say to keep being curious and to follow your curiosity as much as you can.
What do you think on a month-to-month basis is comfortable for a South African to be earning in 2024?
I'm not too sure actually. I think it depends on your lifestyle, if you want to travel or not. So I can't really give like an actual figure or range, but yeah, to comfortably live maybe at least over 20k. Yeah.
And then give me your top 5 strongest skills that you possess.
Organization. Yeah.
Okay, then lastly, what do you think that the world needs more of?
We need more love, as cheesy as it is. We need more love and peace and joy.
So what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Matt Matapelo. I'm 33 years old. Well, turning 33 this year, and I'm a lecturer. I'm an accounting lecturer.
So how long have you been doing this for?
This is my second year now. This is going to be my second year, actually. I started last year.
And what's your favorite thing about your job?
It's transforming lives, right? So I teach children that are from different backgrounds, you know. It's making them see that it's possible, you know. It's possible for them to get out of the situation and change their lives and change their families' lives, and them coming back and thanking me that, ma'am, you made me see life in a different perspective, that it's possible for anyone, any race, any color, any background. Yeah.
And when did you decide that you wanted to do this?
Actually, I started first in corporate. I was first an accountant, and then it was my calling before, but I was just running away from it for a while. So I used to get that, no, you know what, you can actually become an accounting teacher. It's your calling, you're able to instill that. And then when things got rough and I lost my job in corporate, and I said, let me just direct my things and study teaching and see how that will go. And yeah, it led me to where I am now.
And then what do you think that the world needs more of?
It needs more kindness. It needs more grace, extending grace to people and kindness. And yeah, we need more kind people, and we need to extend a lot of grace to a lot of different people. That's what I believe in, kindness.
And on a month-to-month basis, about how much money are you earning currently?
I'm not going to disclose the full amount, but it's more than 25,000. It's above 25,000 per month.
And do you feel well compensated?
I actually do, honestly, because where I was before, it was less than this. I actually do, even though it's a lot of work, but I feel like I am compensated for the work that I do. I feel like that.
And what do you think is a comfortable amount of money for a South African to be making in 2024?
Cape Town, a minimum of 27, right, upwards. Cape Town, because of rent. Yeah, rent is super expensive in Cape Town. You know, it depends from province to province. So other provinces, 25, you can survive with the 25k. But I believe in Cape Town, you get to more than 27k for you to actually survive, to be comfortable, right? More than 27k after all your deductions.
And would you ever work remotely for an American company?
I think I've tried it before, but only with teaching online. So I have tried working remotely, teaching English online. So I would. It's just the time zones are a bit, different. When it's at night here, that side is during the day. So, but I would recommend it also.
What do you think the benefits of working for an international company are?
I think it's just being recognized internationally. It opens a lot of doors for us also in South Africa, to go abroad, because some of us, it is our dream to go abroad. So you get recognized abroad. And especially in my field, I know there's a demand for English South African teachers.
What do you think that we're lacking in this country?
We're lacking hard work. I don't want to be but I know that we're lacking hard work, especially people my age, We need to work more harder. But we also lack the resources. I think one of the things is we lack a lot of resources around South Africa. We're a bit backwards when it comes to resources. But remember, resources needs capital. So.
And how do you feel about the power of education in this country, since you're a lecturer?
I believe in education, and I always tell even my students that education is the way out of everything, right? It is instilled in them. The government are doing their utmost best, but I feel like our backgrounds are the ones that affect a lot of people around here. I'm speaking for my people especially, They feel like it's the end of the world if you have matric, and there is life beyond matric. Yeah. But the government is doing the utmost best. They do offer bursaries. They offer, funding for students who are less fortunate. So they do advocate for education, and I do believe that it is very powerful. It's just that we lack the confidence also to show that you can go beyond your situation.
And then lastly, what is the best advice that you have ever received?
You can always start from the ground, Doesn't matter how old you are, right? You can always pick yourself up and start and build yourself up, get a new career, get a new identity, reform yourself. You can always start from the ground. Doesn't matter your age. Don't let age limit you. If you want to go back to school at 55, it's doable. If you want to do a new career at 60, it's possible. So you can always start from the ground. Any age. Don't let age limit you.
Okay, so what is your name, your age, and what do you do for a living?
So my name is Bohin. I am 36 and I'm a researcher.
So how long have you been doing this for?
Probably 6 to 8 years. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about your job?
I guess my mind is the only limitation because in the research, because it's what you think about out of the box, and that's where the research would lead you, basically.
And did you go to university?
Yes.
What did you study?
I studied BSc and I got my master's.
And did you feel like that was beneficial for you?
Yeah, learned a lot.
Would you ever work remotely for an American company?
I would.
What do you think the benefits of doing that would be?
I guess more like freedom, your time. You can schedule, just to do what you want when you want. I think that's basically the upside to that.
And on a month-to-month basis, how much money are you earning currently?
So probably between 18 and 26.
And if you were to work for an American company, how much money would you put out to be earning?
Probably the same, but I think you would save much more because you would spare on traveling, all of those type of things. So I think you would have more money at the end of the month. Yeah.
Okay, and then what do you think is a comfortable amount for South Africans to be making in 2024?
That would definitely depend on your lifestyle. But if you have a sensible type of lifestyle, I think you should be earning more around 22 and 30. That would just be conservative. Yeah.
And what do you think the average South African is actually earning in this country?
Definitely less than 10. Yeah, so I would say about 6, 8 maybe a month.
And then what do you think the world needs more of?
Ooh, in what sense?
Every sense.
I think the world needs a lot of common sense. I think that's one thing that is lost. I mean, in politics, in entertainment, I think people are very absurd these days, and it's just use a few brain cells and you don't need to ask or react to certain things, for instance, if we take, say, Kanye West, right? We all know he's bipolar, right? So why is the media so obsessed when he says something off the wall? I mean, he's suffering from a disease, and people with bipolar are bound to say statements or do things. But as soon as he does something absurd, then it's oh my word, did you... I'm like, the guy's an illness. Why are you fanning the flame? You know what I mean? It's stupid.
So what's your favorite thing that you've researched so far?
Ooh, it has to be a toss-up between Parkinson's and diabetes.
Okay, and then lastly, what advice would you give your younger self?
I'd say enjoy the ride. Life isn't that serious. Take things as it comes. If things doesn't work out, there's always tomorrow. I think when you're young, you put a lot of stress on yourself, to achieve certain milestones, to do certain things at a certain time. If things don't go your way, you have a mental breakdown. But I think now life is all about the process, and you can be 40, you can be 50 and start a new career, so it's never too late to begin, so don't sweat the small things.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you. So there you have it. Asking South Africans how much they make for a living. We got a ton of interesting responses. And I hope this gave you a sort of good idea of the type of people that live in South Africa and their typical salaries. If you're looking to hire fully vetted talent from South Africa or even other countries, make sure to check out our website at the link down below, or book a free call with our team. We can help you brainstorm what roles to hire for and how to significantly lower your payroll costs by as low as 80 to 90% using overseas talent. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. We do a ton of videos teaching you how to build the best overseas team for your business. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.